Republican Congressman Tony Gonzales of Texas has just confirmed he plans to retire from Congress. I want to go straight back to CNN's Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Manu?
Yeah, this has been a scandal that has engulfed this congressman for several weeks in the aftermath of revelations that he had an extramarital affair with his aide. That aide later died by suicide. Initially, Tony Gonzales had denied having any sort of extramarital affair, but as the allegations were mounting, he admitted to that. Then he decided not to run for re-election, and he indicated repeatedly that he would not resign his seat from the House. But moments after the decision by Eric Swalwell, caught up in a separate sexual misconduct scandal, Gonzales himself making the decision to resign following Eric Swalwell's decision to resign. Gonzales himself saying he will step down from Congress, saying on X, saying there's a season for everything and God has a plan for us all. When Congress returns tomorrow, I will file my retirement from office. It has been my privilege to serve the great people of Texas. Now, the decision by both Gonzales and Swalwell has a couple of key ramifications, one of which is that they both can avoid a House ethics probe. Both men were facing an investigation, but now that members are no longer serving in the House, that committee, the Ethics Committee, no longer has jurisdiction over those members, and expect that those investigations essentially to go away. Also, both men were facing expulsion votes in the United States House. That potentially could have succeeded. It would have required 2/3 majority in the United States House to go ahead, and both of those members clearly looking to avoid that possibility here. But Gonzales had decided to stay on as a result of perhaps the Republican leadership not calling on him to step aside, because Anderson, as you know, this is the narrowest of majorities in the United States House. Had Eric Swalwell still been a member of Congress and Gonzales had resigned, Johnson would have zero margin for error. He could not afford a single defection in the United States House. But now that Eric Swalwell has resigned and Gonzales plans to do the same, that means that Johnson can still afford to lose one Republican vote on a party line vote, which shows you how every seat is so critical in the narrowly divided Republican House.
Manu Raju, thanks very much. Were you surprised by this?
Honestly, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And so if you are in a position of power and you utilize that power in a way that sexual assault becomes a thing, it's just not appropriate. And, a serious investigation needs to take place in something like this. It needs to be thoroughly investigated, and I think that's what's going to exactly happen.
Sure, Michael. Tony Gonzales, this has been going on for a while. Yeah. It seems like Swalwell announcing is what made it, I don't know if it's made it possible for him, sort of from a political standpoint, because it wouldn't necessarily change the balance of power. He seemed to invoke God in his statement, but why now? Yeah,
the irony of invoking God after the woman that he was alleged to have had an inappropriate relationship with killed herself, a lady who was married, family, friends who cared deeply about her. I mean, this is pretty despicable. What's unfortunate about all of this to me, though, Anderson, let's just put the politics to the side. There's been over $17 million, or roughly $17 million in payouts from members of Congress on both sides to keep quiet sexual assault. I believe Nancy Mace out of South Carolina had a bill, I think a month ago, that she attempted to get passed in Congress to reveal who are these members who have paid out after being alleged to have had inappropriate relations with their staff members. And Congress voted against disclosing who those members are and were, if some of them are now out of Congress. Just imagine that, taxpayer dollars paying to cover up this type of atrocious behavior by the representatives that we elect to serve our interest. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It falls below despicable. And I'm saying this as a conservative. I don't look at this as a right or a left thing. I have a 1-year-old daughter now. And to me, when I think about powerful men doing things against women who are subordinate to them, who can't really defend themselves, who may be afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose their jobs, and then our elected officials on both sides had an opportunity to say, you know what, we're not going to stand for this anymore. We're going to disclose the names. We're no longer going to pay out to protect powerful people. And they decided to bury it. Just imagine that, Anderson. In what universe would a moral society say that that is acceptable, that is okay?
It's bizarre to me, Chris, I mean, the behavior, for obviously, if the allegations are true against Representative Swalwell, there are legal ramifications for Congressman, for the Republican congressman. The arrogance that he thought, if the text messages that he was sending, the pressure he was allegedly putting on the woman who ended up dying by suicide and perhaps others, or at least another, it's shocking that he thought that was acceptable. I mean, in this day and age, asking somebody you are working with repeatedly for naked photographs and pressuring them to have sexual relations with you, it's what planet is that person living on?
In any place, in a work environment, I mean, I am actually an equal opportunity representative in the military, in the Army with my unit. And we discuss situations like this all the time. And doing something like this to people that are subordinate to you or just even that work with you in a work environment just makes it so uncomfortable. And it's totally not accepted. It's definitely not accepted in the military. We fight it through and through. It's not accepted in any workplace at all. And especially a member of Congress who has such power and ruling over things that occur in this country. To have this happen in Congress is just completely unacceptable.
Sure, Michael, do you think GOP leaders should have asked Gonzales to take this step earlier? I mean, obviously,
absolutely.
There would have been, balance of power implications, I assume, but he's been hanging on.
Sure, but who cares, respectfully, about balance of power? I'm not saying this to you, but I'm just saying broadly speaking. Who cares when you have a member amongst your ranks who have clearly violated what I presume should be an ethical or moral principle of conservatives, but hell, any decent person. Who cares if you lose a vote? You shouldn't want people like that amongst your ranks. And to me, as a Christian, do I put my political values above my moral and spiritual ones? Of course not. And my expectation is that our leaders on both sides should not do the same. And what I'm worried about, Anderson, is a month from now, 2 months from now, we will have moved on. We'll be on to the next story. But what about the young staff women who have to carry this shame, this predatory behavior with them for the rest of their lives that they will never get over? They'll never get their justice. They'll never get their due day in court because we've buried it. We've moved on. And that's something that Congress continues to perpetuate. And to me, I think we have to keep focused on this to make sure that it doesn't continue because these guys going away doesn't stop this. It merely says, well, we'll pay attention to them. We'll make sure this never happens again. But you're still going to keep paying out? You won't disclose all of the other members who've done similar things? Why not? Why not let us know who all of them were and currently are? Maybe some of them may still even be there. And we have no clue because we have two individuals that both parties are somewhat sacrificing. That, to me, again, is unacceptable.
Chris, you're running for Congress as a Democrat. I mean, when you look at Congress, you sure you want to be there? I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 36.
You've
I
been
get that
a
question
pilot. You're doing a lot of stuff. Is this what is it that makes you want to?
I want to make a change, and this is one of those changes that we definitely need to make. We need to hold people accountable. We need to make sure that Congress is transparent. We need to make sure that we have open investigations of things like this. If this is going on, this is something that I will fight for every single day.
Appreciate both of you being with us. Chris Gallant, thanks very much, for Michael Singleton as well.